The initial revelations centered on an Indian bookmaker named M.K. Gupta.
MK asked me to convey an offer of $200,000 to the team to throw the match.
These initial events took place in 1996 when Bob Woolmer was the coach. This interview was filmed just weeks before Woolmer's death, amidst false rumours that he'd been murdered by match fixers.
So during that entire period, you were unaware of it all going on, of Hansi receiving money? I mean, was
Totally. The only inkling that we had that we were in touch with bookies was in Mumbai.
I was part of the side. It was in India, and I think it was in Bombay. I think that was the whole thing that came out, where the side was approached, and it was a benefit game. Amarnath, I think was his name.
A team meeting was held the evening before the match, attended by all the players in the squad.
There were several team meetings to discuss this offer, which is an amazing fact in itself.
MK asked if we would give wickets away to ensure that we lost.
Apparently the day before, a bookie rang Hansi and said, I'm prepared to offer you a sum of money to throw the game.
To a certain extent, these bookmakers could do it because the access to the cricketers was so open.
They offered us money to throw the game for whatever reason.
I'm not trying to block my way, but I was in bed I had the viral flu for 2 days, so I didn't know about it.
Who was in the last meeting? Ask yourself that question. Find out who was in the last meeting, and you'll find out who shared the money Hansi got.
That's middle.
The bookie already apparently made contact with Cronje. We didn't know this at the time. Offered us in excess of $250,000 to throw the game. Now, that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. The game's not being shown live in South Africa. Nobody cares about the game in South Africa.
So I was then brought into the meeting at probably right at the end of the meeting to find out what my decision was, and I'm immediately very anti it. Anti anything. I've never betted on anything in my life. And nor will I ever. I don't believe in it. And certainly where cricket's concerned, I would not entertain it at all. So that was my view.
I think if you're going to take risk as a cricketer in those days or at any stage, it's got to be really worthwhile. And I think every man's got his price. If anybody's interested, match fixing, mine's £1 million sterling, so you can buy me for that.
We were curious to see whether the offer could be increased.
And I said, listen, if you're going to do this, let's make it worthwhile. If they're going to offer it to you, renegotiate the price. And then we walked out. We thought that was it. End of chat.
And it was voted out. It was voted out handsomely, and they just shoved it aside.
I telephoned MK and told him the team was not interested, but asked whether he was prepared to increase his offer to $300,000. He replied that this was too much, but that he would increase it to $250,000.
Just think about it. Four South African cricketers are left. The other guys have left the meeting. They know that the team basically can't win.
Yeah, when we walked out of the room, that was the end of it.
It wasn't happening, and that was it.
That was it. It was called off, yeah.
They probably didn't even try and lose. They lost anyway, and they collected the money.
Well, Cronje said they didn't collect the money.
They definitely got the money. They definitely collected the money. That I'm sure about. But as I said to you, I'm always adamant that even in the King Commission, Hansi protected people.
I would like you to disclose who the players were that were willing to consider that offer.
Ms. Betoy, I'm trying to help you as best as I can. I am not going to disclose the names of the other players, as that would put them in a bad light. And I'm not.
Well, of course, we didn't know is that Hansi took money.
I'm not going to disclose that.
That wasn't because he was fixing matches, but he just thought it was money for a rope.
Woolmer claimed to have given an account of this deeply compromising meeting in his report to the United Cricket Board at the end of the tour.
The fact they even entertained the phone call and discussed it was probably wrong, in hindsight. But at that particular time, it was though we'd come of age. They'd actually approached us. We'd heard that they approached the subcontinent teams.
The world of cricket had changed. Power had shifted from Lords to the subcontinent of India and Pakistan, which had the crowds, the big money, and sports betting.
If one looks at cricket in South Africa amongst the different communities that have played it,
the values that the world associates with cricket have been part and parcel. And cheating is not a part of that.
One felt cheated by what he had done. You go to watch these major games of cricket feeling that everybody's doing their absolute utmost to win. That is the appeal of cricket at its highest level, that you've got the top players in each country striving their utmost to win this game. To feel that this was really a sham was a tough thing to swallow.
The old-fashioned 8-ball over.
The next game under the microscope had previously been seen as one of Hansi Cronje's great moments, the Test match against England at Centurion Park in 2000, when his decision reignited a game ruined by rain.
Hansi Cronje goes for naught.
The fifth Test match between England and South Africa was held at Centurion Park from the 14th to the 18th of January 2000.
The leather jacket test, as the media calls it. Because he was given a leather jacket for his wife by Marlon Arenstam.
But the game at Centurion went down for a time as one of the great games of cricket in the history of cricket.
It should have been. Until people started finding out that I was involved.
It was the last match of a series which South Africa had already clinched 2-0. The game started, the heavens opened, it rained almost non-stop for the next 3 days. The game appeared to all intents and purposes to have died.
I remember watching the rainfall for 3 days. Immense sense of frustration, at the game not moving forward.
So the game was looking like it was going to be rained off, no problem.
Looked like it was history. Because they've only played 20% of the game and there's 1 day to go.
I received a call on my cell phone. The caller identified himself as Marlon Arenstam. I'm not sure of the spelling.
I was shocked. I was shocked in a way that he'd even see me. But I was gloating to friends of mine because they all told me I was mad prior to this happening. They all told me that cricket's a straight game, and I used to tell them it's not straight. Something's happening. Something's wrong.
I do not know where he got my cell phone number, and I had not previously heard of or spoken to him.
So the first time you ever spoke to him was
on the night of the fourth day.
We chatted for a while. Marlon said that he was a cricket lover and wanted to see action on the field.
It was done initially as a joke.
He said that my image as a captain was poor and that I was being perceived as a conservative and negative captain.
We spoke for a long time.
Marlon urged me to speak to Nasser Hussain, the English captain, about an early declaration to make a contest of it.
It's exciting, at least better than no game.
Each side forfeits one innings. It had never been done in a Test match.
He said, great idea, I'll let you know in the morning.
Marlon said that if we declared and made a game of it, he would give 500,000 rand to a charity of my choice and would also give me a gift.
And the charity was just because he was a Christian?
No, I would have given, if there was betting, I would have given it to any charity they want. It made no difference. Any charity could have had the money. Because we could have made, had there been betting, could have made millions.
We got to the ground assuming that all we'd be seeing was the last rites of a very boring draw.
And suddenly I get a text message. Up until that stage, I'd never seen a text message in my life. Cell phones were new, and the message came through, we have a game. And that's when I drove off to Centurion to watch.
And I think we have a declaration. Well,
the game appeared to be heading for a draw, but Cronje had secretly agreed to do just what the bookmaker had asked. He got the England captain Nasser Hussain to agree to forfeit the England innings if South Africa were to do the same. This created the likelihood of a shock result and therefore a magnificent betting opportunity.
Did anyone on the England side know that this was happening?
Nasser knew. Oh, that what was happening?
That you were orchestrating?
No.